Hello lovely dancers, my name is Aisha and welcome back to belly dance tutorials. In today's class I'm gonna go over some of the head and hair movement. Today I'm gonna start a short series about head and hair movement, and the topic was suggested by one of my viewers, and I'm so glad that she did that because I was actually planning on creating a few tutorials on this topic, and I hope you will enjoy it. So head and hair movements are intense. They are not for everyone. And that's okay. You don't have to incorporate hair movements in all of your routines or any of the routines or any difficult movements at all, because you can still create a beautiful and flowy and graceful choreography without any super difficult movements. So yeah, consider the hair movements if you are into it and you can do them, but if you don't do them, that's perfectly okay. So getting into hair movements and head movements, there's a lot of overlapping, but there are some separate moves that you can do only with the head and not necessarily with the hair, but we'll get into that a little later. As I said, hair movements are intense on the body, and then they do require a certain level of fitness level and good health in general. And for this particular tutorial, I'm going to put my disclaimer in the description box, so yeah, go over that when you read the description. But we can work on creating more flexibility and more strength in the neck, because we do need a lot of both flexibility and strength in the neck to be able to do pretty and safe hair movements. So let's start with flexibility in the neck. There are so many tutorials and so many ways to work on your neck flexibility. Yeah, from just tilting the head from side to side, front and back, and all that. So practice that. But there is also strength involved in the muscles that go, especially in the back part of the neck. All the neck muscles are involved, but I would say that the back muscles here are very important. And we don't train these muscles as much as we should. Now, again, you can find lots of tutorials about how to improve the strength in the neck muscles, and I actually have a short video that I recorded myself at the gym a while ago when I did my exercises for the neck muscles. In a very short nutshell, the exercises are based on pushing the chin back and using the back muscles to do so. So you do these exercises where you push the chin back, you create a double chin here, and your chin is at the horizontal level. So we're not tilting back or front or whatever, just horizontal, and you keep the horizontal line here of the chin and you push back. And you will feel the contraction here in the back muscles. So, and to increase the intensity, you can lay down on a surface, so you will engage your head weight, so it's like resistance training. Yeah, you have more weight because you have to use your head against the gravity to make the same kind of exercises. And you can also do side to side turns or half circle turns and things like that. So in this video I went over some of these movements in laying down, so at the horizontal level, to increase the weight on the muscles. You can even add extra weights like small plates or the sandbags that we use for wrist or ankles, and you can add that on your head if you want a little more challenge. Also, make sure that you warm up this area before practice or before shows, when you know you have to do hair flips or things like that. So yeah, do a very good warm up of the neck muscles and practice flexibility and things like that before working on these moves. So that's about the neck. Other than the neck, also the upper body is involved in these movements. So we don't do these head movements, generally speaking, only from the neck muscles, only from here, but the upper body is involved quite a bit and quite a lot, I could say. And it's pretty much simple tilting of the upper body from side to side, sometimes front to back. So you do engage the upper body. The other thing is the bouncing in the knees. So the other part that's engaged is the knees. So a lot of time we do little bounces from the knees to create more momentum in the hair movements. So that's transferred all the way to the head and hair, and we create a little bit more energy. So there are a variety of moves: flips, tosses, circles, figure eights. We'll go over some of that, but today is more of an introduction to this topic, but I will still do a few simple moves to start with. So let's get started now with the other thing, very important, is the quality of your hair. Not all hairs have the quality needed to create good hair movements. It depends. You have to just play around and see if your hair actually moves. And sometimes you have to apply various treatments. Sometimes you have to straighten your hair. Sometimes you have to curl it. And it has to have a certain length. If it's too short or if it's too long, it might not work that well. If it's shorter, you can definitely use some extensions to add more length to your hair. Another trick that you can do is if you want to put your hair up in a ponytail, and then your ponytail will move around and create hair movement. When you do the ponytail, make sure that it's very, very, very well secured, because it will not last. One way to create a better, a more secured ponytail is to bring your sides up first. So that's the first step. Yeah. And then you tie it here with a tie, and then you bring all the hair up in your ponytail here, and with another tie, you put your hair up and also secure it with bobby pins. There are tutorials on that, so yeah, you can look for tutorials on how to create a pretty and a secure ponytail, so it won't come down when you move it. So yeah, the quality of your hair is very important. But even if you don't move your hair, you can still create head movement without a hair movement necessarily, that are still interesting and pretty, and we'll go over some of this later. To check if your hair is gonna move, you can do simple tosses like this. So from one side, you toss all the way to the other side, and see if your hair flies. And then your hair has to describe this circle in the air, so you have to see the ends of the hair, the ends, yeah, flying up here in the vertical plane. That's a good hair movement. If it's only here, it's only a hair flip or hair toss, and it's still good. I mean, you can still use this movement in certain context, in a certain body movement, and we'll go over that too. But ideally, the ends of the hair should fly out somewhere. Yeah. All right. So I think I went over all the the premises of the hair movement. So today, let's do a few simple hair movements, and let's do the flip. which is just side to side. So from this side all the way to the other side. Yeah? Very much used in Kaliji, for instance, Zar, or any hair access that you want to do. What to look here for? A few technical details. First of all, your head, your face, is facing the side. One more thing about hair flips. A lot of time your chin is slightly down. Not all the time, but a lot of time. So when you're moving your hair here to the side, you want your face to be turned all the way to the side, chin slightly down. So we're not here. We're not here. That's something else. Yeah. And we are not here, so it's only like a partial turn. Yeah, this will not create enough movement. So it's all the way here, turn to the side, all your hair should be on this side. And then when you turn to the other side, you flip it to the other side and create the same head and face orientation. Right? So here to here, here to here. And usually in Kaliji or Zar, it's kind of a double action here. So it's gonna be a little bouncing here, a double accent here, I don't know what to say. So tuck, 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 tuck. And generally speaking, you want the hair to also fly vertically to the other side. It depends on the styling, so it's not a must, but you may consider that. Yeah, so when I'm flipping it, I still want my hair to fly in a more vertical manner. So that's a simple hair flip. Now, a hair toss. Same idea, but your hair was gonna go from this side all the way to the other side. And this is more in the frontal plane, yes. So your face is to the audience. Now, the little prep movement before you get into that is to make sure that your hair, so in the movement before that, make sure you end up with your hair on this side, on one side. And then you add the body tilt and also the neck flexion. Yeah, so bend here in the waist, add a neck flexion. So your hair is nicely on this side. Now when you flip it or toss it on the other side, you use the knees. So to create more momentum in the hair and give it more oomph and energy, I'm gonna do a little bounce from the knees. So from this side to the other side. And I end up in the same position. Bend here in the neck, in the waist, and flex here in the neck. You want all the hair to be on this side. And now changing, up, so up. So from the knees, bounce. So very slowly, from the knees, yeah, tuck, 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 yes? So don't forget to use your upper body. Now the degree of the upper body, that's another very, very fine detail. You don't want this to be too deep unless you're doing like a side wind, yeah, so you're going all the way to the side and you want to, come from a lower position to the other side. But if you're doing just a simple hair toss, your upper body should not be very, very visible because we want the focus to still be on the head and hair. So don't go down so much. Now I describe that like that because for demonstration purposes, yeah, for you to understand that we have to flex and bend here in the waist. But if your goal is to do the hair flip, don't bend that much here because it's visible. And try to flex more in the neck. So it's gonna look more like this, yes? So I'm still using the upper body, still using the knees, but I'm using more the neck muscles here. So I'm flexing as much as I can. A very intense, strong contraction in the neck muscles to create this sudden movement to the other side. That's why you need the strength in the in the neck. And you need a good and healthy spine of the neck. If you know you have neck problems, just don't do that. Yeah, it's okay. You don't have to do hair movements. Because yeah, they are intense on the neck. So we did the hair flips, hair tosses. The other one that I want to do in this class is to do hair circles. Now, hair circles usually happens over the spin. So you're spinning and you're adding the head circles. And the breakdown of that, the mechanics is pretty simple. You do a head circle around. So this is from the neck. Yeah, from the neck. Very simple. As you do in the warm-up, you flex the head forward, side, back, side, and forward. That's all that it is. Now, when you spin around, this will create a momentum and a force that will flip your hair around, and that's good. So it makes it a little easier to spin than to do. We'll get into hair circles standing in a standing position later, but today we're gonna do with spinning. So with spinning, you can start in any direction, wherever your hair and head feels comfortable. And what you're doing is just rotating your head from the neck and let the hair go around. You have to flex a lot though, so to make sure that your hair does not get caught in your eyelashes or lipstick or things like that and it moves, it's not enough to do a superficial move like that. Yeah, this is very superficial and it will not make your hair move around. It has to be pretty deep flexion and extension. And you have to kind of move your hair or your head in such nature that your hair is gonna go around your body. Yes, I hope it makes sense. And also try both directions. So when I'm moving, I'm trying to have my hair go all the way down, yeah, all the way to the side, all the way back, and hopefully I will not end up with too many strands here on my face. Yeah, so again, it depends on how your hair is moving, whether you have bangs or not. I noticed that people that don't have bangs have it a little easier to move the hair around and to bring it back. While people with bangs like me, a lot of time it ends up here on my face. But you know, you can just do whatever is necessary to not have that happen. So again, trying to do my hair going around. So I have to flex my head a lot and even use my upper body here a little bit. When I'm coming on this side, also use my upper body a little bit, a little tilting, a little back bend here. But again, these movements should not be too big. The upper body, not very big. So one more time, let's do that. All right, and I still end up with a lot of hair on my face, but that's okay. So now work your way up. The other thing, start with simpler hair movements like these ones, like hair tosses and hair flips. and around, and practice this for a while before you get into figure eights and more complex movements that will get you even more dizzy. Again, work on the flexibility in the neck, on the strength of the muscles, and just practice. And a lot of people will ask, but I get dizzy. What can I do to not get dizzy? And there is no simple answer to that, and no magic trick or miracle trick for that. You will get dizzy regardless. But with practice, you will tolerate the dizziness much better, and you will recover from dizziness much better or faster, because your inner ear, that's responsible with balance and gait and things like that, will get accustomed to this kind of movements and will not be so overreactive. It's like when you do, some people compare it when you're a dancer or a runner and you have a callus on your feet, that part will not bother you after a while, and that's what happens with the inner ear and the structures in there. You will get less sensitive to being dizzy, but dizziness will still happen. So I think that's what I had for today for this introduction, but I will continue in the next class or two and add more movements, more complex movements. And those are really for advanced dancers and people who have the ability to do them. And if you are interested in doing that. So I hope you'll practice this until next time. Thank you so much for watching my video, and I'll see you next time. Until then, shimmy shimmy.